This Torah class is brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.
I'm married off my daughter in 18 days from today.
That's Hashem, thank you. And we're doing the preps. Right before we left New York, I was sitting with the photography, for the wedding. And I told my daughter, this is your boss. The whole chasana, the photographer owns the... when you come, when you go. So I have a photographer where he owns me. Whatever he says, now we can start. Mahayt to him. Okay. Today's topic is probably something that all of us struggle, not only with our children in pain, with our kids. This is something that we struggle in relationships in general. In relationships, this is a lifetime of struggles, right? Of figuring out relationships. One of the greatest things one of the hardships in relationships is, can you still have feelings to someone that hurt you? The closer someone is to you, the more hurtful it is when they hurt you. Right? You walk down the street and a person that you don't know says, "You dirty Joe," right? If it's someone close to you, it tells you something about it, that really hurts. So the closer they are to you. So nobody could hurt us more than our own children. Of course, there is our cycle and there's our feelings. In our cycle, we know that the child is in pain now, and we know that the child is going through some kind of turbulent times and struggling, but emotionally, feeling-wise, it still hurts. And what happens if someone could close the door? So, if we could get so hurt by our own child, by our own spouse sometimes, it goes so deep. In my practice privately, I work a lot with couples, marriage counseling, and sometimes when a couple comes and they're so hurt on each other, he said this, she said that, he did this, he ignored me, didn't ignore. I say, you guys are so close to each other that it's bothering you so much. When it stops bothering you what your spouse is saying, when it doesn't hurt you anymore, that's when you know you're in Sudas. If it still hurts you, it still bothers you, that your spouse said something and it hurts you, that's when you know you're still close. What happens when someone hurts us? Naturally, we get turned off, right? That's the word. So we have this couple come in and say that I was by my in-laws for Shabbos, and my wife embarrassed me in front of her whole family. She said this and this about me. For a week, the guy is turned off. Okay, he can't look her in the face, he can't smile to her. I mean, the story goes both ways. And what happened? He got turned off, he got hurt. Feelings are turned off. In feelings, we know you cannot have love and hate for the same person at the same time. It's not possible. You can't love and hate someone at the same time. But what you could, or we should, be able to love someone, even if we are hurt by them, to still be able to love them. These are two feelings that could be simultaneous, that could work together. I'm so hurt. Why you did this, why you said that, you embarrassed me, or whatever it was. But I can still love you, I can still care for you. If the word love means care, I can still care for you. The word love is the name of a feeling we have when we care for someone or when we feel cared for. Make sense? That's the word love means. What does love mean? Love is the name of a feeling that when we care for someone so much, we love them. We get a certain feeling, a geschmacke feeling. It's a very good feeling to love someone. And to feel loved, to feel cared for, that feeling that we have that this person cares for me so deeply, I have a good feeling towards that person. That feeling is called love. But that very person that cares for me hurt me by mistake, by dafka, because of their shortcomings or something, that I can still have the feelings of love towards that person. But in reality, we don't have that. Why? I think we could go back when we were little children. When I was a little child, and I was punished. I felt that my father doesn't love me now. I just hurt my brother, beat him up. So my father gave me a patch or whatever he did. He told me, go into your room for an hour. At that hour, I felt my father's angry at me. God, what did you do? Or my Rebbe, I'm still from those people that got a lot of petchenchayde. And I had one Rebbe in Kitta Gimel. I was probably like, Kitta Gimel is what, 6, 7 years old? I was locked in the closet in the room, literally the whole day. And he used to knock on the door and said, there's mice in the room. And I used to jump like that. It was dark. Don't worry, I worked it out already. I worked it out already. One of the things I had on my list. So what happens is, a child feels that when you punish them, or when you discipline them, or we tell them you can't have this, if they feel that you hate them, or you don't love them at the time, you're teaching the child that when they're going to grow up in our age, be adults, that they're also not going to know that it could work together. So if I could tell my child, my son, my Yitzchak, is hurting my Mati, the little one, is beating him up, whatever he does, boys. And I tell him, you have to go into your room now for half an hour, for 45 minutes. I love you so much, I can't wait for you to come out. But you are going into your room right now. And the next time you're doing this, whatever you want to, I'm disciplining my child while I'm saying, and while I mean what I'm saying, I love you. But I need to discipline you. You are not going to get this. You're going to have to wait a week to get this new bike, whatever you want. Because yesterday you were chutzpah tamami. And I say before and after in the middle how much I love him, and I take care for the child. Basically, I'm teaching, I'm giving over a gift to my child. When they're going to grow up, and they're going to grow older, they will be able to love their spouse even while they have some hurt, even while their spouse did something wrong. Because it's not a stira, it's not a contradiction. You can have both of those feelings. It's funny when I tell this concept to younger people that are in the 20s nowadays, Baruch Hashem, a lot of them understand what I'm saying, which is a good sign that the world is a little bit changing, shifting in a better place. You, in a perfect world, if you love your spouse, you're living together for many years, you care for each other, and your spouse did something that irks you again and again, and they did something, or they said something, and you say, I love him, I love her, but this is driving me up a wall. I'm so hurt. But in turn, we all turn off, we get disconnected, and what happens is a whole ripple effect, the domino effect. It gets even worse. So you get turned off, so now you feel that your spouse is angry at you, so now you're, and it goes on, till someone comes in, until finally something happens and wakes up, come on, where are we up to? Let's get back to the old self, let's get back to the relationship. What happened? But it shouldn't be that way. We should be able to have, again, you cannot have love and hate at the same time. You could be hurt, you have to switch it. I don't hate my spouse, I'm hurt by my spouse, and I still love them for who they are. And I still love them and feel connected for everything else that we had, all the good times and everything else that we share. And if we are able to live that way, it's going to be way much easier to deal with our own children that way. All of us in this room have so much pain from our kids. They hurt us in every way possible. Our image, our outside, our people. They exposed us. And we all have similar stories, but very different stories. And they challenge every part of our life. Mamash, our rochnis, our gashmis, our values, right? When dating with your spouse, you decided, this is my value, this is our value. In our house, we don't bring in screens. In our house, we don't do this. Everybody has their mamash, ausgearbeitet, exactly their technology and everything else, how they want the house to be. We only fight in the bedroom. We don't fight in the kitchen. And then comes this kip, and the ganze Svet as Shiddat HaMareches, everything changes around, and the whole house changes. And the other kids in the house, the skips we call them, siblings of kip, right? The sibling of the kid in pain. All of them are being changed. Everything is... all your values go down, everything changes, the ganze Sach. So there's nobody in the world giving us more pain than our own child. Just want to say a shtickle Kabbalah for 5 minutes. Kabbalah teaches us, I don't learn Kabbalah that much, but I learn Torah Sabal Shem. And mamash, a few weeks ago I came across a Mordig shtickle where he explains, you know, there's the Zayim Midas, this is Midas HaMalchus, right? There's Chesed, Gevira, Tefes, Netz Chesed is Malchus. Malchus is a Koenig. Who's a king? A king is someone that has all the other midas. They know when to do chesed, when to do gevura, when to be kind, when to restrain, and when to... A king knows when to have netzuch and when not to have hoid, malchus, everything. A melech. In every person there's all the Zayin midas. In the world there's Zayin midas. The Zayin midas is midas ha-malchus. He says, all the tzaddikim throughout the generations that had midas ha-malchus suffered immensely from their children. It's a shame I didn't bring along a copy of it. I called up my son-in-law that's in my house now for Shabbos. Moved into my daughter and my son-in-law. I asked him that he should still before Shabbos. It's on my desk. I want him to take a picture and send it to me, and I'll somehow print it out. A shtickle from the Baal Shem Tov. Unbelievable. And he says, you see, David HaMelech suffered from his own child to such an extent. Yankiv, he goes through all of them, and he says in the world right before Mashiach comes is Midas HaMalchus, is the last midah. The generation of before Mashiach is going to come is going to struggle, have so much pain from their own children. So it's not something that we did. It's something that was preordained. It's something that Hashem put into the world. Why does Midas HaMalchus have to suffer so much? And why from your own child? Some things are black and white. Good, bad. Milchig, fleischig. Kusher, treif. Black and white. In Malchus, a melech is someone that has to be able to differentiate even in the tiny details in the gray area. Malchus is bitter. Boirer, right? You're boirer, you're taking out something. In the Chassidus it's called bitter. You're mevarer, the good out of the bad. This is our job. What? Selection, select, and separate. We are living in the gray area generation of times, and this is Midas HaMalchus, yeah.
I just want to, not to play devil's advocate, but okay, so you're right, so we're in that generation, but not everybody's going through it. All of us here, yes, right, but
right.
In the real world,
okay,
outside,
good.
They're not all going through it.
Right, so we'll talk about them in a minute. Okay? Let's see where they're up to Malchus.
The real world,
good. You're right, and that's
two things. You have to go to the real world, but what you're saying is
right, that's true.
We're all in pain. There's plenty of pain.
But we are the tzaddikim. We are the tzaddikim. Okay.
That's nice to say to make us feel good, but I'm just saying.
This is the emes. No, it's not to make us feel good. I'm in the same situation. I also have a kid.
No, I'm not.
But we are not trying to make us feel good. We're trying to understand what's happening. But we're going to go back to practical. We're talking Kabbalah now. We're in the middle of a Kabbalah sheet.
No, they're not.
Okay. It's being recorded, so we have to... No, you can ask questions afterwards. Try to... People are going to be tuning in and too many questions. So afterwards we'll talk everything. I'm here the whole Shabbos. So let's just finish the shtickle Kabbalah. We'll go back to practical. So the Baal Shem Tov teaches us that the Midas HaMalchus, a melech is someone that has such chachma and such ability to able to separate even things that you're not sure if this is kosher or not. If it's not this part, yeah, but this part, no. To be able to separate. The Gemara says, "Imayin das of dolam enayin." If you don't have das, you can't separate. The more das you have, the more seichel you have, the more you're able to separate even of something that's, this part is okay, this part is not okay. For a little child, we don't do it. We say, don't talk to a goy. A goy is tumah, right? What do we say? A goy, they grow up in school in Chayde. When we grow older, we say, okay, we're able to separate this part, yeah, they part nish. The more das you have, the more you're able to separate. So we're in right before Yemais HaMashiach, according to this shtickle from the Baal Shem Tov, another other tzaddikim, is that we are in a place which is called Midas HaMalchus, and Taki, the people that have Malchus, are the ones that we are given these neshamas to help us mamish question every single core value that we have, and we have to stretch ourselves and try to separate day part yo, day part nisht. It's like it's very complicated. And he brings out of it the Taka that this is the reason why we're having a lot of tsar from our own kids. He said, because Bruk had a davia, a child is actually you. Our children are part of us. That's why we're so pained when a child has physical pain, we're in pain. They have emotional pain, we're in pain, because they're us. So this is the beer that we have to make. This is something that we have to separate. There's more chairs here. Back to the...
I just want to say I'm so glad you brought it up, and this was going to be one of my questions to my wife, who's Hasidish, I don't know what you are, about like there has to be something going on the spiritual.
Yes, that's exactly what's happening.
And there's something called Ner L'Ragli before Mashiach comes, and I think
this is it.
Really,
this is it,
really
yeah.
important.
So Bli Neid, I really hope I'll have the copy of it. I'll share it with the Olam throughout Shabbos. The main point is, now that we are living this generation, we're living in a place where we have children that are giving us Moed de Gitzar, and they're questioning every single core value of our life, and they're making us sift through the fine grains of every piece of sand. This is a diamond. This is a painful process. Birur is a painful process. And this is what we're doing. And one of the things that makes it so hard for us to do is because we are hurt. We are humans. We have feelings, and my child is hurting me.
What are we selecting?
Huh?
What are we selecting?
What are we selecting? It used to be in every way of our life. It used to be that this is good and this is not good. Right? If your child is coming home, a child that just started slipping, and their friends have smartphones or whatever, so you're going to give them a tablet with a filter, with not a filter. This is okay, this is not okay. This movie, not this movie. As they go deeper, you're going along with them. You're suddenly starting to separate. So many parents sharing with me different things. This Shabbos and the previous, I was telling me last night. Someone says that I just made a siyum with my child. A whole TV episode that have 180. I never knew there's such long TV episodes. 180 episodes, and what is the whole thing called? Series. So he's making a siyum. His child wanted him to do it, and he said that was the only way he was able to connect with the child. The child was in the basement, not talking to him the whole time, until he offered him, and he was so excited to share with his father this. And he said, see this guy that he was sharing with him, this actor, and how he's doing it. And that's what built their relationship. That's a birur. I think that's why gray is so in, no? Everything. We're in the gray area in life. We're the gray area. And natural. The people stripping over the sheetrocks, and you're going to fancy the restaurant, there's no roof, there's just the beams. People want natural truth. Gray area. It's interesting how it pans out even in design, where we're living in. How do we love someone that hurts us? I think we should start with the Torah. Hashem chose us. Shimon Russell always says, I don't know which Shaifi it says it from, but it's a Moed Gevat, that Hashem took us out of the Tzis Mitzrayim when we were in the Memtes Shara Timur. I don't know what that means exactly, but it was the lowest level that Klal Yisrael ever was and ever probably will be. So he asked, why didn't Hashem take us out a few months before? We were still level number 40. It was like 49, level number 20. He says Hashem took us out to Memtes Shara Timur to show us that it's not because we are good He wants us. Even when we hurt Him, even when we do everything wrong, we spite Him. The relationship between Hashem and Klal Yisrael has nothing to do with our performance. It has nothing to do with our grades and our marks. It has nothing to do with that. If you love someone, if you care for someone, yeah, we have to deal with the problems, we have to deal with situations, we have to... Fine. Uhafti eschem umar Hashem. Hashem says it explicitly, straight up. This was after the Eigel. After the Yidden did everything wrong. I once told someone that came to my office, Chassidische boy, he's an atheist. So his father sent it to me that I should, you can imagine how deep he was. Probably as shallow as it could be, but he said he's an atheist. So we're talking this and that, the different questions. And he said that, why does Hashem care if I have a tissue in my pocket on Shabbos? The Eibishter is so shallow, so like, what does he care about tissue in our pocket? You do something big, you kill someone, I get it. Don't steal, don't hurt, don't. I said, you're so important to Hashem that every small thing that you do, He cares. There's two ways of saying it. In a relationship between Klal Yisrael and the Eibishter, if Hashem keeps on telling us, Uhafti eschem. Why? You could be hurt from someone and still love them. And I think the best way to do it is to say it. Say it to yourself. There's an interesting thing, it says, Hamanti ke'adaber. I believe because I say it. That's what the Melech says. Our subconscious is constantly listening into our conscious and to know how to feel now. So if our conscious saw something scary, and it says, oh, you're in danger now, your feelings go into danger mode, and it makes you act that way, right? It's thoughts, feelings, behavior. You had a thought, you go shopping in Walmart, and you hear an explosion, and you see some smoke the other side, your brain just said, hey, danger, your heart starts beating, and what's your behavior? You run, right? Or you fight or flight. The fight guy is going to run, try to see what's happening there and fix it, and the flight person is going to run out of the store. But our behavior is going to be a result of our thoughts. Our feelings constantly listening to our machshavas, but it listens much more to words. If you say it, I am safe, say it. You don't want to look crazy, go into the other room. I'm okay, this is going to pass, it goes much faster than just thinking it's okay. Our subconscious, our feelings are a little slow. It's a bit slow. It doesn't. Some of us, you have to tell it. So if you tell yourself, yes, I love my spouse, even though she or he just embarrassed me or said something that hurt me so much, I still love the person. I'm hurt. I have pain with the person, but I still love the person. You're going to see you're not going to get turned off. Try it. We all have it throughout life, many times. Say it to yourself. To yourself. You can say it to the other person also, even better, if you're able to. But if you tell it to yourself, you are going to the emes. You're going to see. This is. I tried it 1,000,000 times. It works, and every person that I told to do it, say, I love my spouse. I love my child. I'm hurt. I'm pained, but I still love the kid. I always tell my kid, grab him by his shoulder and I say, there's nothing in the world you could do that would take away my love from you. You could hurt me, you could give me pain, you could take away my night's sleep, you could take away all my dreams, you can do whatever you want. Ma liebschaft zu dich geht nicht weg. There's no way in the world. And when I say it, I mean it, and my subconscious, my feelings hear. Feelings listen. It's interesting. It's very connected to the ears. And I can feel that way. I am able to love my child even if they hurt me. And I want to tell you something. I'm on camera, so I'm not going to say everything, but throughout Shabbos, if you want, I'll share more. But what I went through with my kid the last few months, you can't imagine. You see them. I love that kid. What is the thing? The first thing I was thinking when I was standing by the Pshimen or when I was by the Koisel yesterday in the morning, we daven for that very kid that's hurting me and patching me up. We love them. And we need to know that it works. That you could love someone and be hurt and in pain. It's okay. And you don't have to lie to them. This is the statement I just said. Not everybody agrees with me, but this is my shitta. You don't have to lie to them because they know that they hurt you. And my shitta is you're allowed to say, so Tati, you're very hurt, but yes, I'm hurt, but I still love you. It's my journey. Don't worry. You don't have to lie to them and say, no, I'm not hurt. It's good. I love you unconditionally, and I. Yes, we love them unconditionally, but we could be hurt from them, and they're allowed to know that they hurt us. And they know they did. Our children know exactly what they do that hurts us. Crossed my mind, the Reb Chaim Vital was a Talmud from the Ariya Kudish, the Heilige Arizal. And he says right before Mashiach is going to come, the Shumas are going to come down from all the generations, the remnants from all different eras in history are going to come down now, from the Erev Rav, from all kinds of Neshumas, from all over. And it's going to be given to the tzaddikim, to the people that have Midas HaMalchus. And children are not going to have to match the genes of their family. Till a few years ago, it was very predictive. You were able to predict, this child grew up in this family. The child more or less was the same nature, like the whole family, like the father, like the mother, maybe I think the same. Now you have children, some of us have kids, like, where did this kid come from? It's like nothing. Maybe some resemblance, the nose, looks like the Elter Baba, but that's it. Their nature, they got the same nurture like any other kid in the family. And it is the nature, ich weiß nicht, wie der Kind kennt. We were all born believers, maminim, benai maminim, goimle, chasudim, rachmunim, and where does this kid come from? If I wouldn't learn the shtickle from the Reb Chaim Vital, it hurts double. And I say, okay, this is meant to be. While we're in a tzura, while we're in a problem, it's not possible to see the reasoning. If someone is going through torture, they cannot see it. But they look a few years later, they look back, they're able sometimes, not all the time, we're able to put it together. My Zayda told me, I had a Zayda, my father's father, still had the numbers. He was 100 years old when he passed away, he was 98 years old. Healthy to the last minute of his life, Baruch Hashem. He told me, I asked him once, he was 43 years old after the Holocaust when he got remarried, my age basically, a year younger than I'm now. He got remarried to my grandmother, and he had 2 children, my father and einiglich, einiglich, only an achas. So my Zayda told me, I asked him, how did you survive the war? How were you able to, Hitler killed his wife, his first wife, 2 children, he owned a business, used to sell carriages and sewing machines. I don't know what the two have in common, but for some reason, I guess they all had wheels. That was his business. Huh? That's how it worked. And he had a store. Everything was taken away from him. I said, Zaydi, wie soll das getan? How did you do it? I was going through my own life then a struggle. And my Zayda told me, because I went through before the war, I was able to. He was a little kid when his father was drafted to the war, World War I. He lived with his mother and his one brother, Naftula. There was the Russian flu. His mother died while his father wasn't. So he had his brother, and they went to live by the aunt. A year later, his brother Naftula, Erev Kippur, died. Him alone living with his aunt. His father came back, got remarried. The new wife did not like my grandfather, so he was kicked out. So he went again to live by his aunt. Finally got married, the wife, 2 kids. Hitler came on Shabbos. So my Zayda told me that he asked the question, why me, before the war? And it was Mammon, and he took it. But he said, because I had why me questions before the war, I was able to ask why me after the war. And say, why me? Why did he give me such a good wife? He had a shulam bias. I had a role model. I'm very lucky. You can't imagine what a relationship my Baba Zayda had. They lived together, arichas yomim, almost till 100, from his 40 till his 98. They, unbelievable ahava that they had between them. It's unbelievable. Respect, it was beautiful. My father told me when he was a little kid, they role models. Happy person. My Zayda was always smiling. She was always. My father Zayda said, because I went through when I was young, I built up all these antidotes, how to call it, and that resilience. And I'm scared to use that word lately because people say, "Don't tell me I should have resilient children." I heard it too much. So, today people are very sensitive with certain words. But yeah, the right word is resilience. And
What do you do about a child who doesn't like hearing "I love you"? Doesn't want to get hugs? He's just like whatever.
Okay, it's a very good question. I think that the answer is the 5 love languages. It's not only between husband and wife, it's between parents and children. And if a child doesn't want to hear I love you, that means act of service. I don't want to hear it. Show me. So that's what they need. Don't force the words I love you on them. Some kids hate when the mother hugs them and kisses them. They hate it.
They reject your acts of service.
What?
They reject your acts of service. You give your child Sunday, you leave 100, 200 track out, and they right back in your face.
Right, that's
Back in your face and anger. No, they don't want to take it. It's not anger.
okay. They don't want to take it. Could be, or because they don't want to. They want to become independent.
They don't want to take it.
They want to become independent. They want independency. This is one of the things in their journey. It doesn't mean you. It's them. It's them. This is the avodah. The avodah that we have is to understand that this was preordained. This whole geschäft has nothing to do with us. It's so humankind. It's a human condition to go blame. And with every person that I spoke to, telling you this Shabbos and previous, always. I know when it happened. It happened when I was, when she left school and that teacher said this. It's shtissim. This kid had to go through this journey, regardless what you would do. She had bad friends. Would be other bad friends. I should have cut her off from this friend. I should have.
Is that universal? Is that a universal from all the rabbis who agree with that? There's no way that you can stop it.
I didn't say you can't stop it. I'm saying if it is, you can't pinpoint where it came from because that had to happen.
Why did it have to happen?
Why did it have to happen? Because Hashem wanted that this child should go through this journey.
People make mistakes, and people's mistakes are ramifications.
Good, very good question. So let's go to Bechira. Let's talk about it. The Square Rebbe Chaim said, we say every morning we're davening, Shigiyos miyuven. Mistakes, who understands? He says, Mi gatunu the Eibishter. Hashem makes us do mistakes because He wants the world to go in a certain direction. I just gave a shir last week from the Baal Shem Tov and the Parsha, I think it was Vayayiru, and he said, Hashem makes us do Avayra sometimes because He wants the tshuva afterwards. David Melech, all of them, they were forced to do something wrong. So, yeah, I did something wrong. Hashem wanted. Huh?
There's cases where children sold someone to them. That's what happened to them. So
Right.
it's not like they did.
Exactly.
So
They still have to go through that journey. A child that needs to go through a turbulent journey is going to go through. It has nothing to do with what you did wrong. You want to go to Bechira, you see, this is a bissel. Huh? Many times they don't have Bechira, no. Everybody's Bechira starts somewhere else. What's Bechira?
Until this happened. And then
No, or they have Bechira.
It's to see that you don't have Bechira. It's to see that Hashem.
Maybe, but I have a different thing. Maybe, but I think that Bechira is in different levels. One person has a Bechira if they should eat kosher or not, and the other person has a Bechira if they should steal or not. Every person has Bechira in a different place. I don't know where someone else's Bechira is, I know where my Bechira is. The Reb Zisha says that you should never judge someone else's Yid because to me, nobody has Bechira. I have Bechira. I have a choice what I should say now, what I shouldn't say now. That's my Bechira. But to me, you don't have Bechira. That's the easiest way to be done like Avschis, that's the easiest way to understand.
Nobody has someone else's Bechira.
Right. And you don't understand where that other person has Bechira B'chlal. I don't know where your Bechira is. Yeah, but I know where my Bechira is. I know if I could choose not to walk away, I could walk around. This is my Bechira. I could choose not certain things. But to me, you don't have Bechira. You didn't have Bechira, I don't know what you had. You to yourself, you need to know where your Bechira is. I don't know. This is a very interesting thing because I don't know if you know the history that was the Cherem against Chasidus. The Cherem against Chasidus originally was exactly this. Chasidus, but from the Masnagdim, from the old Masnagdim. Today there's no Masnagdim, there's no Chasid. Klal Yisrael is beautiful. But in those years in the history, they didn't understand why the Talmidei B'Hashem were being mekar of someone that's choosing to do something wrong. The Baal Shem Tov's Talmidim were being mekar of Yidden that were doing things wrong. And all the others, Masnagdim and Stam, the neutral Yidden, were against it. What are you doing? The person has a Bechira. He's Bechal Shabbos. What do you mean you're going, Tzaddik? All these stories out from the Badit Shveruf and the Baal Shem Tov. Moshe Daganov, he came running to the Rebbe and he said, Rebbe, I was caught stealing and they're putting me into prison. The Rebbe gave a bruch and the police forgot about it. And then again and again and again and again and again till the Baal Shem Tov passed away. And Moshe Daganov was caught again stealing. And he came running to the Groise Magid, to the Mezid Shemagid, the Rebbe that took over the Baal Shem Tov, and he said, Rebbe, I'm going to go to jail. He says, look, so, because Gigamvit got to jail. And he said, you don't understand, you're not like your Rebbe. Your Rebbe took me always out. He said, this time I'll do it, but I'm not doing it next time. And he davened for him and the police forgot. That Yid became one of the biggest Talmidim from the Groise Magid. The story is given over by the Bial Rebbes, I think. And it was given over not to say which Rebbe is this person, because people are going to judge him. To me, I would want to know a person who was a Ganov became a tzaddik is even bigger. But that's a shlukish. So what does that mean? That means that Hasidus brought something to the world, a message. Hasidus, not Hasidus. Hashem wanted that this message to come down to the world, to understand that sometimes people don't have bechira. They don't have choice. You know, we know sensory, right? People are touch sensitive. People have different types of things. People have what's the name of the diagnosis? People that mesophobia, they can't take when someone swallows or eats or makes noise with the slippers walking, irks them. These people chose to be that way. They didn't choose it. This person, it irks them. So to us, other people don't have bechira. We have to try to raise our children as much as we can until they become or good or they turn into kids, whatever it is. Of course, we have to try to help them with their bechira. They should choose. We have to educate them, try to give them, but we can't judge. We can't. It doesn't work that way. And this is something that we need to know, that Kiruv is a few hundred years old, and a lot of things changed ever since. I don't know if you know this from the Chasam Sofer. I think Chasam Sofer was also like 200 years ago. There was a few suicides in his time, and I don't know if you know, but before it's called Mabed Atzma Ledas. If someone takes their life, in the olden days, you didn't sit shiva for them. You buried them outside of the cemetery, standing up. It was why? Because if someone took their life was the greatest indication of the biggest apakaris ever. You don't believe in the world to come. You don't believe that everything you're going through, Hashem wanted you to go through. It's apakaris gumer. It's the greatest disclaimer against Hashem. You're not part of Klali, so you're Mabed Atzma Ledas. So they came to the Chasam Sofer and they said that this person, I don't know, jumped out of the window. Who's that? The Chasam Sofer gesucht? There's no such thing, and he paskin in the Lalucha, and we paskin till today. Till Mashiach is going to come, there's no such thing as Mabed Atzma Ledas anymore. It's emotional issues, it's pain. It's not apakarsis. There's no such thing as gepaskin in the Lalucha. You never heard ever since in Klal Yisrael that Mabed Atzma Ledas. The same thing is with kips, and the same thing is with everything else. Things changed. People are not able to put on tefillin every day. They have an issue with it. They have an issue. I'm not even talking about it. I once had a boy that came to me and he says, I didn't put on tefillin in, I don't know, 7, 8, 9 years, whatever he said. And I didn't ask him. And I said it again. So I saw he wanted me to ask him why. So I asked him why. You know what he told me? He said he was bullied by his Rebbe, Magachir, was embarrassed in front of the whole yeshiva while he was wearing his tefillin or something. He said ever since he got grossed out, he can't put on tefillin. You could come and say he has bechira, you could come and say that he could choose to put on. I once had a kid that came to me, parents came to me that their son he was still in Shuktan, he was starting to slip out of the system and doesn't want to wear tzitzis. Shema Noiv, no tzitzis. And maybe you could talk to him, because this boy used to come to my house, he used to be nice to him. So he came and he said, you want to talk to me about tzitzis? I want my parents to be here. So I called on parents, we're sitting, I had a shul in my house, we're sitting over there together. And let's talk about tzitzis, and the father said, it's such an easy mitzvah, why did you just put on tzitzis? Maybe you could explain to him why you should put on tzitzis. I said, he doesn't have to put on tzitzis. Why do you have to put on tzitzis? And the Torah says, if you have a bag that has 4 corners, you should put on tzitzis. You don't have to. I was going all my tricks in the book. It did not work. And I said to the Bucher, tell me, what's going on? I walked out of the room with him, and he said that he was terribly molested by someone, by one of his rabbis, way back. And he said he was holding on his tzitzis. And he was told that tzitzis is shmira. And he said, Hashem, save me. And Hashem did not say, I was holding my tzitzis and nothing happened. And again and again and again. You think Hashem wants him to wear tzitzis? You think he needs tzitzis? I've had someone in my office that came recently. He became OTD by 31 years old. His wife tried working with him for a couple of years, and they separated. They got divorced. Shulam v'shalva, most beautiful divorce. Children coming, going, Allah samachai. He came to me, mamash, recently, and he said, I saw your videos and your stuff. I want to start talking with you about Yiddishkeit. I want to challenge you. I want to redo it. So I asked him, are you taka ready? Or maybe you need another few years. Just come back when you're taka ready. His parents were so pressurizing him. He did have a few questions that came out when he was a teenager. He learned at the top yeshiva in Borough Park. And he was a very good learner, but he had kashas, he had certain things. And was macht sich beschigge, you know, man fragt nicht, man weiß nicht, don't ask. His parents got him married. So a few years later it came out. But now it came out with vengeance. It came out with the rebellion, with the ganze Sachen, and his children are suffering. And sometimes our kids are going through the stage now, as painful as it is. Let it be now. Okay, some of us have married kids that are going through this, but sometimes certain kids need to go through. I had a girl that told me, I'm going to say it in a nice word, I need to be violated once in my life to feel alive. Some people need to have pain to feel alive. They're so numb. Obviously, I got out of her. She was very hurt as a young kid, obviously. She numbed her feelings and she wants to feel, she can't feel. She bites herself, she doesn't cut herself, she bit herself. To feel alive, she says, I want to. We can't go through their journeys. We're just here to ease their pain. And as I said yesterday, we did not come over here for Shabbos to figure out how to make our children from. We came here for Shabbos to figure out how to ease their pain. We are Chevra Atzula. When you run to Atzula call, you don't ask them, Shagalaik Tvilnand? We are Atzula calls. You know what I did this morning? I want to confess. You know what I did this morning? I took out my phone, I was looking at my camera in the front of my house to see if my kip didn't run out in the middle of the night. Such a dog I have sometimes. Who knows where she's going? We all know this. We're living this. How can we make our children go through their journey with less pain? This is the reason why we're here. How can we love them while they're hurting us? And yes, we could love them. It's not a contradiction. We could love them. Hashem loves us. Hashem loves. The Baal Kalina said, I wish I would love the biggest tzaddik as much as Hashem loves the biggest rusha. To some people the statement sounds so queer and odd, but if you look deeper, what a beautiful word this is. Is there such a thing as a rusha? The Baditch would have said, if I would be with that person's genes and that person's childhood and the same classmates, I would look worse than that person looks now. That person is a tzaddik. They are tzaddikim. Sometimes we're wondering, like, this is probably the worst of what we suffer the most, is that, where did it happen? What? This kid had a perfect life, let's say. Or sometimes we're lucky we're able to pinpoint something to have to blame. Oh, it was that, you know, shtisim.
Who goes to Ghana?
Huh?
Who goes to Ghana?
Ask Hashem, not me.
What did you ask?
But I understand the question. I need to be worried about my Gan Eden Gehenna, not about someone else's Gehenna, because I cannot know. It's not possible. To me, everybody's going to Gan Eden. Myself, I'm standing before Yom Kippur, and ich klap al chait. I know exactly which al chait I need to. 20% of it, 80% of it, 100% of it guilty. I know my al chaits. Someone else, zero. Not my spouse, not my child, and not my sibling, no one. To me, every Yid is a tzaddik gomer. I don't have to be meshadach with every tzaddik. Different types of people. There's a story of the Rav Heschel Rimanov used to call his driver, his balagul, his amoritz with that ice. He used to call him tzaddik, and he said, Rebbe, I was thinking, I have a daughter, you have a son, and you always call me tzaddik, you're a tzaddik, let's be meshadach. He said, you've been meshadach tzaddikim like you and I. But they're tzaddikim, they're taka tzaddikim. You don't have to do business with every tzaddik. You don't have to trust every tzaddik. But really they are tzaddikim because they are the ones that are suffering. If some of us have the ability to be in tune with other people's feelings, some are able to have it more, less. I know for myself, I can speak for myself, I have radars. I know how every person feels, it's crazy. And I know that kips are the ones that are so sensitive, they feel how their parents feel about them, and that in itself hurts them. And that in itself makes them be even worse because they're so angry at themselves for causing so much pain to their parents, and this in itself tells them, I'm even worse than I really am, and that's what helps them go even further down. So what are we here to do? We're telling our child, don't worry, I'm a big kid. I'm just here for you, I'm strong. I know, yes, he caused me pain, so it doesn't matter. I'm good. Don't worry. You don't want them to get into that spiral of getting worse. Some people get bad for being called bad. We have to stop that cycle sometimes and tell our child, okay.
If you're in the house, if you're around them and they can pick up, you're trying to be like the healing influence, right? But then you're saying that just the fact that they're in your full environment, they know they failed that. So isn't that a contradiction?
Right, but if you could tell your child, it's true, but if you could tell your child, every person in this world has different struggles. This big Rebbe by the corner, this Rav by the corner, this Rebbetzin over here, she has struggles just like you. She's lucky her struggles are not public. I had a phone call, it's crazy. I had a phone call.
I had struggles.
I have struggled, that's true, even better. Someone called me up, anonymous, he booked an appointment with me online. It's an interesting email address. It was a phone session. He tells me, I'm a person from this and this, talking Yiddish to me. Ich gebe shiurim morning to night. I give shiurim every day, morning to night for people. I'm a big mashpia, I have things. I didn't put on film for 3 months. I'm the biggest hypocrite in the world. I'm searching for years, I'm in torture. In the outside, I'm one person, and in the inside, I struggle with Shabbos and film. These two things I struggle with. And he saw my videos, I don't know, somewhere, and he said, you're the only person I want to talk to. I didn't ask him his name. I'm not a curious person in that way. I'm curious in knowledge, not in people. And I didn't care. I spoke with him, and I was telling him, he was a Talmid Chacham, so I was sharing with him. And I told him, I don't understand. Look at these Svurim shang behind you. Just start taking out different Svarim. If this is your struggle, it's just like someone else struggles with Lashon Hara. You can have a person that's worked out and everything, and this is your avodah. The Baditcher Ruf writes, the Kedushas Levi and Kedushas of Piram, he writes that if a person did the biggest Aveira in the world, and a minute later, he wants to daven mincha, and he says, I'm going to daven mincha now. I'm going to daven mincha now. You know what I just did? And he doesn't daven mincha, he says, this is apokarsis. Yiddishkeit is not all or nothing. We have to try to be all. We have to try to do the best we can. It's not all or nothing, and this is what you could tell your kip. Be open to them. You're struggling with this. Tznius is your issue, and I have a very good friend of mine that his wife struggles with tznius. A regular woman, she grew up in the Beis Yaakov. She struggled with tznius, like terrible. And she's the greatest mother, the greatest wife. She listens to shiurim all day. If someone else doesn't have the struggle, they could judge her. Who are you to judge? Why do you know the struggle? How do you understand someone else's struggle? People are addicted to certain things in their life, and they label themselves as a goy. I'm a bad person. These are old-fashioned way of thinking. We have to stop it. We have to stop this way of thinking. You're a tzaddik in this, and you're struggling with that. What's this? What do you mean? Why? Because we went to Cheder, and we told, with this mouth that you talk Lashon Hara, you're going to daven? It's the worst statement you could tell your child. Or you could tell yourself. The biggest people in the world struggle with certain things. Otherwise, what are they doing on this planet exactly?
So why are we taught that?
What?
Why are we taught that as children?
I don't know. I have the same question.
Why were we ingrained all those things and then we raised our kids that way?
True.
So then,
but that's why you're here. And all of us. Because we are the ambassadors from Hashem. And the world is learning from us. The whole world is shaking. There's the latest talks had interview, it's the Chassidische talk show, whatever it is. Gedali Miller was interviewed. I got so many phone calls, but he mentioned my name by mistake. Whatever. It happens to be he mentioned my name over there. And there's so many people called me up. What is it? I have a struggling child. I said, come join. Next Shabbaton we're going to have... Gedali says that over 2,400 people went through Kesher Nafshi since the day started. Different people, not a few times, attended Shabbatons and events. And this is nothing, it's not even a fraction. So we are going to change the world. Hashem chose us, as painful as it is for us, what we're going through. You're going to go home and tell your sisters, your friends, your neighbors, to start teaching the kids to be the best they can. You grew up in a Bais Yaakov, you were told, some of you, were told that you should be like Sarah Meini. You have to strive to be Moshe Rabbeinu. And Chassidus said, Reb Zisha said, I'm going to come up in Shemayim, they're not going to ask me, why weren't you Reb Melech? They're going to ask you, were you the best Zisha you're possible?
So then we train the Mechanchim.
Yes, we are trained in Mechanchim. And many of us are coming to the trainings of Kesher Nafshi, Taka, because of this.
We should be scared to smack the kids.
I don't know, smacking is a different conversation, but...
Why do you speak always about the pain from the children and not from the pain from the parents?
Of course, because that's so given. Our pain, if we would start talking about our pain, there would be water running out, filling up the Canaries, another 10 feet of water of our tears, if we would talk about our pain now. I think Reb Shimon got quite a bucket yesterday. He has a whole, he could fill up an ocean. The Heilige Tzaddik Reb Yitzchak Werke came up in Shemayim. The Chayzer from Lublin, he was able to see what's going on in Shemayim, and he said he came up and he sees Reb Yitzchak Werke sitting and crying, and he says, why did you go into Gan Eden? You were doing everything right in this whole world. You didn't stop. What are you doing here? He says, what do you mean? You don't see this ocean over here? I said, what is this ocean? This is a lake full of water. He said, this is tears from Klal Yisrael. He says, until this doesn't get dried out, I'm not going to Gan Eden. I have nothing from the whole Gan Eden. A tzaddik means someone that's ultimately extremely selfless. That's what my definition of tzaddik is. I think all of us are so... What? Look, that went through. Yeah. This is the tzaddikim. The tzaddikim is someone that turns selfless. We are the most selfless people in Klal Yisrael. Do we have a choice? We don't have a choice. Anybody? Did we choose this? None of us chose it. Hashem chose us. He grabbed us by the ear and He says, go. You take this neshama, you take these 2 neshamas. Some of us have 3 neshamas, 5 neshamas. I'm living this on a daily basis. I know exactly how all of us feel. And we all want to go home and have that magic button and say, I'm a hero, I can handle this. I'm not going to have any pain anymore. I'm going to deal with this kid. I'm giving the button to heal the child that we gave up already. That we know it's not a button, a magic button. But at least we should walk in there and... But yes, we're going to come home, hopefully, all of us, with Abissal Me'koich, Abissal Me'chias, and realizing that it's not us, it's a mission. There's something happening in the world. There's something... Hashem wants certain neshamas to come down now. Certain things have to be done. Why me? I don't know. But I do know if we have why me questions down the road. I want to share with you something personal, a second. I was in London 2 years ago. I married off my daughter. And I was in London, so there's a few organizations that have speakers coming, so they asked me to come speak. And Golders Green I spoke somewhere, I forgot the name. Is there some London here? What is it called? No, they have, so they... It's reached out to me. Whatever, so I spoke... Whatever, I spoke a few other places. And I was dancing by the chasana, and a man comes over to me with a big beard. I didn't recognize him, and he says, "Do you remember me? I was your classmate at Cheder." So his name is his name. I was, "Oh, what's machst?" Like, got married to London 30 years ago. I haven't seen her. And he tells me, "What happened to you? Where bist du? I hear shearing from you. I hear this and that. You're running this organization, that organization. You were a quiet boy. What happened to you?" I said, "Do you know anything about my life since I got married? I'm a second marriage. I went through divorce and children, alienation, the whole." And he had no idea. I said, "That's what made me." I can't pinpoint this sorrow created this. It pushed me to start thinking, seeing the world different. Would I choose this? No. But Hashem gave it to me. At least I'm turning it into. I'm trying to do the things that. And my wife also, Baruch Hashem, she's also doing. We all went through a bistel, and while we're going through something, we can't say, but all of us, our grandchildren are going to thank us. They're going to have greater babas and zaydis, selfless people, tzaddikim. I want to tell you something. Every person in this room, your face is shining. You know what makes a person's face shine? Selflessness. Selfishness dulls the face. I mentioned selfless. You're giving someone a bracha and you mean it selflessly. Your face is shining while you're giving them. You mean it. You don't begin with the ganze heart. So yeah. Oh, you also wanted to ask something. 1 second.
I just wanted to point out something. Avraham Avinu was the first and greatest pure person that ever was.
Right.
And he didn't. We shouldn't feel ourselves a failure. He didn't feel himself a failure. We shouldn't either. Because most of the people that he dealt with were matzliach. Look. All the people, only Yitzchak Avinu came out from it.
That's true, but it's not. I'm going to be devil's advocate, but it wasn't his own child. It was before the Torah was given. Our children were born and raised in a frum house. You're right, but it's still more painful. It's still.
With Esav and Yaakov, was he in denial about
Esav and Yaakov.
That's more of a direct thing.
You know, the Torah could be learned in many ways. It could be practical. We could get into it, and then it's much deeper also as well. I just want to ask that. Yeah, she wanted to say something.
You mentioned that it's important not to lie to our kids.
The what?
Earlier, you say that it's important not to lie to the kids in the sense that yes, it's respectful, but later in this same conversation, you say that when we told them, yes, they hurt me, then are going to feel bad about themselves and they are going to judge and so.
No, I didn't say it doesn't hurt me. I said I'll deal with my hurt. Don't worry. That's what I said. No, it's a good question. Right. No, but if you tell the child.
And they need our approval.
Yeah.
But at the same time, they are also like sharp. They may see beyond.
Of course.
They are
hypersensitive.
Wise and they go through our faces.
Of course.
And,
they feel the vibes.
And rules, and they go beyond everything.
Right.
So they are really reading inside us. They need the approval. They need the truth.
Right.
And they need not to get hurt because we are.
Right, but the truth is also that you are hurt. You cannot.
This because they need the truth. The truth is. Yes, I feel in pain because you are insulting me.
Right.
But
it's
they
true.
need my approval.
But if you tell them, I'll deal with my pain. Now, I hear what you're saying. You'll tell them, I deal with my pain. It has nothing to do with you. Then you're not lying to them. Right? All right, shkoyach everybody.
You've just experienced another Torah class brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.